Hello, everybody. Welcome to Radio Mythoverse for April the 25th, 2020. At the beginning, you heard Back from the Dead by the Suburban Swamp Kids. That track is available on their Tropical Depression EP. They're a great ska punk band from South Florida. Check them out on Spotify or on their Bandcamp at swampkids.bandcamp.com. I'll make sure to leave a link to that in the description below. Hey folks, I'm Dan. We're back at our sometime occasional new time slot, Saturdays 9 p.m. Eastern. I've been working remotely since the 13th of March, and we show no signs of that changing till sometime in May. So I hope everyone is holding together out there, and I hope everyone can get back to work soon. So today, being April the 25th, also marks the 1-year anniversary of the launch of our first joint Kickstarter campaign, which kicked off everything, and I do mean everything. Since then, we've fulfilled all of our number one issues, all the posters, cards, and everything. Sent out a whole bunch of hoodies. We built a sizable and enthusiastic community on our Discord and through Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And we've kicked off our Patreon and fulfilled a number of special variant covers of our issue 1s. And Mythics is going out next month to backers on the Patreon. Speaking of Mythics, we do have a little something to mention with regard to Matt and Bethy's part of our shared universe, and we will talk about that in a little bit. But first, with me tonight, as always, is Brett. He is the writer and creator of Changeling and An Urban Fairy Tale, as well as our head of community outreach and PR. And also Matt, the writer, creator of Mythics, and our lead writer. So before we go on to the main topic of the evening, what's up, guys?
Well, let's not all go at once. Well, going pretty good.
Echo. Okay, what?
Going pretty good. Just got off of a stream with Wicked Publishing over the aforementioned campaign.
Oh, very, very, very cool.
Yep.
How are you holding together in terms of Chrono-chan?
Oh, pretty well. I have not died yet.
Obviously you're still healthy. How has your work been impacted?
Not that much. I mean, I've keeping the same schedule for writing as I did before Chrono-chan. And work has been basically the same amount of hours, more or less.
How long has your location been doing curbside only?
It's not curbside only. You can go into walk in the lobby.
No kidding. Huh. I guess it's different wherever you go.
Yeah, it's just a limit of 5 people at once.
Oh, I see. And do they have the counter all blocked off with plexiglass and all of that?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, if you call all blocked up with one small section of it.
Yeah, there's this Thai place near us that has like an airlock. It's freaking brilliant. They came in and they built like this whole wooden frame on the side of their restaurant, completely sealed off with plexiglass. They have like a little credit card machine on the counter that's completely like fed through the plexiglass, and they have a little slot for cash, and they have this little chamber where they drop the food in and slide it forward, and you can pick up your curbside order without ever coming into contact with them. It's pretty amazing. So how about you, Brett? How have you been holding together in this past month?
Well, now I gotta wear a mask when I'm at work.
Do they make you wear gloves too?
Just a mask.
Okay. Can you? So, do you handle a lot of pickup orders?
I don't work in that department, but I can tell you that from the looks of things, our pickup order, our output has definitely increased.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm glad you're holding together. So, before we move on, who won our no prize?
Oh, Dylan did.
Okay. Yay, Dylan. Yay. Okay.
Hey, he's back.
Hooray. All right. So, with that shocking revelation, as you can see in the stream, we've been displaying a series of customer photos from backers of our first Kickstarter campaign. So there's a lot of folks out there that have had a chance to read our books and hold them, and that's been a very, very proud moment for me to finally see all of that. And this 1-year anniversary of that campaign is a good time to reflect on that, but not to rest on our laurels. We got a lot of work still to do, and I think it's about time we began talking about that. So without any further ado, I'd like to formally announce that we are going to launch our second Kickstarter campaign this evening right here on the stream. And it is, as you've probably have already heard, it is for Matt's and Bethy's Mythics issue 2. That will be the very first brand new issue that will kick off the next part of the Mythoverse series. So, Mr. Matt, let us shift focus over to said campaign. So, do you have a link to the campaign? Is it live now?
It is going live now, and I've just sent out a tweet on the Mythoverse Twitter account.
Okay, you set out a tweet on the Mythoverse Twitter account. So, let me go ahead and grab that. Link, and I will drop it in the chat. Okay. All right. Yes, it is officially live. So let me go ahead and drop that in the chat right now. And then we will shift right on over to that page. Okay. So, and here we are. It is officially live. This is the Mythics issue 2 Kickstarter campaign. So, and we got an $18 backer. Someone got yay. All right.
Hey.
Thanks for popping the cherry.
Alabaster first.
Was Alabaster just sitting there waiting to be the first to donate?
Yes.
All right. Well, he's got it. So, Matt, is the video uploaded here? If I click this play button, will it play the video?
It should.
Okay. I'm going to have to take your word for it because I'm going to fire it off here, okay?
If it doesn't, it's all Kickstarter's fault.
It's all Kickstarter's fault. Oh, yeah. That's not like you, man. You don't pass the buck. You take responsibility. Let me just say, Matt has proven himself to be more of a man than most comics pros. Because when Mythics issue 1 dropped, there were some criticisms about it that he not only didn't get upset about, he took to heart and he worked his ass off creating an entirely new edition of Mythics issue 1 and sent it out personally to all the backers. And I haven't heard very many examples of comics pros behaving so professionally and with such humility towards their craft. He didn't get defensive. He just said, you know what? There were some fair points being made there, and I'm going to go ahead and put forth the extra effort to make it happen. So, all right.
Something to aspire to there.
Something to aspire to.
Isn't it bad, though? Like, you see, like, these big companies, and, like, here's this little guy right here, you know, and he's, like, doing all the things they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's kind of odd, isn't it? But yeah, if anyone's listening...
The Wonder Marvel class.
It's the market at work.
It's the market at work. Okay, so we have now 2 backers. We have $121 on the campaign. So
nice.
We're off to a good start. I'm guessing that means someone must have hit the top tier. So we were definitely going to go down through all the tiers and talk about them. But for right now...
I might pledge more. We can't be outdone.
No, yeah.
How much do you have to pledge to the Kickstarter?
How much do you have to pledge to Kickstarter?
Not pledge or donate or whatever.
Well, we're going to go through all that. But first I want to play the promotional video here. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to let Matt pass the buck this one time. Okay, here he goes. When we last left Althea Fletcher, she had rescued a baby changeling from a coven of witches, and there were indications that there was far more to the incident than she had initially thought. The day after the arrival of Morella as backup, Althea Fletcher is sent on another mission into Blue Creek Metro Park, this time to deal with a spriggan stalking its grounds. Although the spriggan does not seem like a threat, once it finds a home, it becomes malevolent to any trespassers or perceived trespassers. Althea is apprehensive about the mission, as she has a crippling fear of spriggans. Will Althea master her fear? Why is there a spriggan haunting the same park where a coven of witches tried to sacrifice a baby changeling? Do they cause the spriggan to be there? Find out in issue 2 of Mythics by Matt Trin with art by Beth Varney. The first of the continuing stories of the Mythoverse shared comic universe, now on Kickstarter. Alright, and there you have it. So, and our project is at 3% of its goal after a mere minute, so very, very cool. So now that we've had a chance to go over that, Matt, before we go through all the tiers, why don't you just tell us, can you elaborate on what we just saw in that introductory video? So this issue is picking up directly where issue 1 left off, and what happened roughly, without spoiling too much for those who haven't read it. What was the gist of issue 1?
The gist of issue 1 is pretty simple. Althea goes in, saves a baby changeling from being sacrificed by a coven of witches. Finds out that that coven of witches screwed up so badly that their paladins are investigating.
Oh yeah. The Order of the Carolingian Cross is very well capable of detecting the injudicious use of magic. Like, the people that know what they're doing, like the Mythics, can usually keep themselves under wraps because they've been able to avoid being completely subjugated for 1200 years. But some amateurs, think of them like script kiddies that attack a high-profile target without any thought to covering their tracks. They just blast. And that's essentially what these witches were, right?
Yep, and there is a bigger plan to it, but not something I'm going to talk about just yet.
Okay. So, we got another backer up to $149. Fantastic. 3 backers already. So thank you, whoever that was. And we have Popefire in the chat. Welcome, Popefire.
Welcome, Popefire.
Thanks for stopping by.
And I got a message from Salem saying that he donated, so thank you, Salem.
Thank you very much, Salem. So, Althea stopped a coven of witches whom she calls LARPers. I mean, that doesn't indicate to me a very healthy amount of respect towards these witches. So do you think she's not very impressed with them, or?
No, because these guys really screwed up with the match.
Yeah, they basically broadcast their location. Not only were they doing something terrible, but they basically threw up a neon sign saying, "I'm using magic, come get me," and the Order of the Carolingian Cross got involved.
They even murdered a paladin in training.
They even murdered a trainee paladin, and that's definitely not something you want to get involved with. So the paladins are investigating, while Althea, who is using magic against the wishes of the Order of the Carolingian Cross to protect a baby changeling. So she's kind of caught between 2 factions right now.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty awesome. But if there's anyone that can find her way out of that, it would be Althea. Because as I've said many a time, if Adobe is the muscle and if Maeve is the heart, Althea is definitely the brains.
Yep.
And not only is she very, very smart and resourceful, but she's in a situation where she has to be as resourceful as possible, or else she risks being caught by the Order of the Carolingian Cross. So that's why the Mythics are so good at what they do, I would think.
Yes, and one of the problems with her right now is that she's also a rookie. So.
Oh yeah, this is her first mission.
Yep.
Yeah, but she might be green, but she's nobody's fool. She's good.
Definitely.
Yeah. But what I really, really like, and this is something that I saw in the preview pages for issue 2, is Althea is absolutely not a Mary Sue. She's very smart. She's capable, but she doesn't always get her way, and things don't always happen to her advantage because of some mystical plot armor. She actually does get into some tight situations. And I really do prefer that my characters do experience those types of challenges because it makes their victories feel earned.
Riri Williams.
Yeah.
I thought everybody preferred it that way.
Yeah, I thought so too, but apparently that isn't how it goes over the last several years with some of the more prominent titles. But you know what? That's fine. It's fine. We're taking.
All right, I've
steps.
sent out a tweet.
We're taking steps to rectify that. Go ahead. What?
I was just saying I sent out a tweet letting everybody know that the Kickstarter was launched.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good man.
All right. So I don't want to keep talking about it, the story itself, because we might accidentally slip into spoiler territory, and I definitely don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do now is just examine the campaign itself directly. So let's start at the very top of the tiers and just go down and describe what the backers to this campaign might be able to expect. Okay, so we'll start here. You can pledge without a reward. Obviously, back it because you believe in it. Trust me, I will never discourage that, but we want to get these stories out to you so that you can enjoy them and pass them on to your friends. That's the whole point of it. I mean, we definitely would never turn down support for its own sake, but over here at the Mythoverse, we're all about stories and myths and tales of heroism and drama and action and suspense. And we want as many people as possible to be able to enjoy them. So you go to pledge $1 or more, and that is the tip jar. So it's just like, hey, I can't really afford to do much more than say, I really like what you're doing, and here's a little bit of help. So even if you think that will not be of much help, it will, because it's not just the number of it's not just the amount of money we raise, it's the number of people who back it. The more people back it, the more we are sent a signal that people enjoy what we're doing, and that will tell us that we should go on doing it and continue redoubling our efforts to it. So even if you can only pledge $1, that helps too. Okay, the next tier is pledge $5 or more. So Matt, since this is the first tier that involves rewards, why don't you talk a little bit about what you can expect at the $5 tier?
Well, I decided to give them a little bit more bang for a buck, and it includes the Writer's Notebook with the digital edition of Mythics Issue 2. And what the Writer's Notebook is a book of documents involving Mythics development history, so going back from the very first Mythic script written, which dates back to, I believe, August 2016, when I wrote the entire script while on a road trip with my siblings to Wizard World, Chicago.
Oh, nice. What's Wizard World?
It's a comic book convention.
Oh, nice. Now,
Nerd.
so this is probably not the case, but was the fact that you were driving to a place called Wizard World, was that at all influential on your decision to write a story about a magic user?
You know, that's probably the first time I thought about that.
I'll take that as a no. So you had the idea to create this magic user at that time. Was it based on the Cunning folklore, or was it just? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I read about them in a book of folklore, but this group sounds interesting. They don't see magic as a religion. They see it as a tool to better their communities.
Yeah, so for those who might not know, who exactly were the cunning folk and what kind of magic did they practice?
Funny thing is that there's all kinds of information that contradicts one another, but the one I prefer is that they were basically the British shaman, and it was basically set up in a way of the men were the lore keepers and the women were the witch hunters.
Okay.
Imagine.
So the women were the people of action, and the men were the knowledge keepers.
They have any connection to like the druids?
I don't think so. Not certain, but basically what they would do is just usually look for lost things, lost people, and all that.
Now this is interesting because you can make a nice little funny nod to that in our modern retellings of these old folklore tales by having like Althea, like she's obviously a female mythic and therefore a field agent. Like what if she had like a male mythic who was on the computer giving her instructions, like Chloe in 24?
Well, in a way, that's kind of what happened in Mythics Issue 1 with her fiance.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, yeah, it's just something that came to mind. It's kind of like a reversal of the traditional role where the women were the ones who went out in the field and took all the risks, and the men were the ones who just kept all the information. So that's really cool. That's very neat. It's a fascinating little piece of folklore there, and that's
She's a strong, independent woman.
Well, yeah, that's what we do at the Mythoverse is we adapt, folklore, legends, myths, and give them as much of a modern twist that is as distinct from other takes on the same legends as possible. And I think that I don't think I've ever seen a modern adaptation of the Cunning Folk. At least I haven't read any personally. So
I didn't even know about the cunning folk until I met Matt.
Yeah.
Well,
so I think Matt has touched upon something new and different that will give us a lot of new storytelling possibilities as well as a lot of lore.
well, I can think of one title.
What's that?
Injection from Warren Else.
Okay. Well, that's someone as well read as you can only come up with one. I think you're okay.
Yeah, well, the way he treats the cunning folk is that it's more of a, in the terms of weird magic, weird science kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay, so at the $5 level, you'll get the writer's notebook, which will go over everything we just sort of talked about there, where Matt, you'll get to see where Mythics first the seeds were planted, and it'll bring you all the way to the present day, and that's pretty neat. Because it isn't often that, like every now and then, artists will show off works in progress, but very rarely will you get a chance to have a look at the early seeds before they're sown. So that's a pretty neat perk, and I would be really interested to see that. So you get that in addition to...
Hello! 4 backers, $252 now.
Nuh-uh. Let me check.
I just saw it.
Yep, definitely. So we got 4 backers and $252 so far. So congratulations, Matt. It looks like we're on our way. So yeah, at the $5 tier, you get a digital edition of Mythics issue 2, and all that. Not only the behind the scenes, but the history of the development of the property, which is neat. That isn't something that I see a lot of folks offering, so that's a pretty cool idea, Matt.
It's also something that I haven't seen any writers do.
I think I know why that is, because a lot of the time when your ideas are nascent and they haven't been fully formed yet, you're kind of embarrassed at how crude they can come off. Like if I were to show the very earliest ideas for Adobe Kroger, she was approximately 557 times more vulgar in the first draft.
Did it sound like a teenager wrote it?
No, it didn't sound like a teenager wrote it. She just dropped a whole lot of unnecessary F-bombs. That sounds like
something teenage me would have written.
My skin.
Well, she was supposed to be a young person who was very damaged, and In later drafts, I definitely cleaned it up a lot and used the F-bombs and even one single C-bomb very sparingly so that it had more impact when she finally let it drop. So yeah, so you'll get all that at the $5 tier. Anyway, so at the $8 tier, okay, Matt, why don't you talk about what you can get at the $8 tier?
Well, at the $8 tier, you get issues 1 and 2 and digital edition.
And you also get the writer's notebook.
Okay, and yep.
Okay, now this digital issue 1 that you're going to get is the re-lettered issue 1, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one that that you went back and made a lot of improvements that I feel made things clearer and you made the story stronger and the characterization much stronger. So
yeah, the thing about how it ended up in the original edition was that I feel like I rushed the dialogue a lot of times of it.
Yeah, but you know what? You live and learn, and you took the criticism like a man in stride, and like a man you improved it. So you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that will generate a lot of goodwill for your future projects. We're definitely seeing some activity already, and we just launched it, so you should be proud.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere
Yeah.
Mark Wade is crying in his sleep.
Yeah, Mark Wade. Oh,
Well,
man.
my opinion is that if
how
I'm
dare
going to
you.
say that I believe that we should be more professional in taking criticism, then I can't be a hypocrite about it.
Of course, yes. And I've stated publicly that, all three of us, have things that we need to improve with our writing and our presentation. And when we sent out our digitals to reviewers, we all got feedback that indicated areas in which we could improve, and I think we've all taken them to heart. And no one got doxxed, no one got blocked, no one got cursed at, no one got called nasty names. It's just thank you for reading our book and taking the time to offer the criticism. It means a lot to us. So
and if Alabaster wants to know, it was Salem that outdid you.
Oh. Anyway.
It's an arms race, boys.
It's an arms race. Nice. Okay, so at the $8 tier, you get 2 digital comics, which includes all of the community art and all the extra content that will go into digital issue 2 and the writer's notebook. So at the $10 tier, why don't you talk about the $10 tier for us, Matt?
At the $10 tier, it's gonna be basically just issue 2, the digital and the physical, for those who have issue 1 already.
Okay. All right. And that includes the physical copy of issue 2. Awesome. Okay. A digital copy to read, a physical to put away. That's always a good way to think about it, because a lot of folks do want to read the story, but they want to keep the book in good condition. And I'm definitely one of those people. I definitely like keeping them in good condition because I love the feel of a pristine comic book. I love gently flipping through a pristine comic book and, treating it with, reverence because it's a piece of art. Yeah, especially if a friend of mine made it, then I tend to treat it with much more care. Okay, so let's move on to the $15 or more tier. So why don't you talk about that tier for us, Matt?
Well, it's basically the physical variant cover.
Oh, the variant cover. Now, this is a special variant cover.
Yeah.
Is it on the campaign page?
Yes, it is.
Let me put... I probably shouldn't put this on screen because the last time I did this, they took down our stream. But I don't know if that was to blame or what. But here's
honestly, considering what you already showed up what Beth made, I don't think that was it.
Okay.
Oh my.
So this artwork right here was done by our very own Dylan.
Who is in the chat right now.
Hi, Dylan. Check it out. This is your Kickstarter variant cover for Mythics issue 2, and it shows off her very comely physique and her rock hard abs.
I feel like it's a little underplayed here in the variant cover.
Ooh, it's played enough.
Yeah, it's played enough. Yeah, and
I don't see. Yeah, Dylan, I do not see how this could be more played out.
Dylan will find a way.
If there's a will, there's a way.
yeah,
Just remember,
and if anyone's
Dylan,
got the
no.
will, it's Dylan.
Dylan, yes.
You just can't play it up more without going into NSFW territory. You have to restrain him on that front.
You've got the power.
Nice. Okay, so in that tier also includes the writer's notebook and the 2 digitals and the physical issue 2 variant. Sweet.
Like
All right.
I said,
Go ahead.
I was thinking about pledging. I'm like, oh, my variant cover's here. Does that mean I have to buy my own cover?
Well, we'll make.
You're getting your own cover as a reward, Dylan.
Everyone works at the Mythoverse. Everyone works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone will get their shots.
Yeah, everyone. Don't worry, we'll take care of everyone. But so,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe when we get around to issues 3, we'll have Neville do it.
Yeah. All right, so
There's a thought.
I just want to see
I
more
wanna-
Founding Fathers Chan right now. That's all I want.
Hey, check this out.
Well, we can talk about that later. For now, more of the
Yeah, for
more
now,
of the Kickstarter.
for now, more of the Kickstarter. So, at the $20 tier, Matt, talk to us about the $20 tier.
It's basically all of the issue 2 stuff, the physical, the digital, and variant, plus the print from Travis Martinez, who did what I'd like to call the sequel to the cover.
So, sequel to what? Okay, you got to go into more detail on this, man.
Well, the sequel to Dylan's cover.
Oh, did you put that up on the campaign page?
Yep.
All right, hold on. Let me scroll down to it so we can show it off. I believe that's it right there. Yeah, give the stream time to catch up. There we go. So, so what is Elfia fighting here?
I may be butchering a name, but Nukkalevi.
Okay.
I always read it as Nukalave or something.
Well, it's basically it's a Celtic creature that's blamed for epidemics and livestock sickness.
Okay. And it looks like his Achilles heel, if you will, is water.
Fresh water.
Fresh water?
Yep.
Okay. That's why she's squirting him with the hose.
Like, it's like this terrifying looking creature, but imagine like this sissy girly scream coming out of it.
It's kind of, but when you think about it, it's not like the ring wraiths from Lord of the Rings. Damn, running water.
Oh yeah.
This is true.
And it's ankle deep water, but it's running. Oh, I can't go. Oh no. They got away on a ferry.
I mean, when you think about it, isn't it kind of silly that a vampire bursts into flames when it goes out in sunlight?
Yeah, it's all silly. It's all silly.
What's weird about that? I do.
I'm pretty sure I've got more of a chance.
Wait a minute. The very first vampires didn't burst into flames when they stepped into sunlight. Sorry,
Yeah, but it's in
I had to step in because
I know. Okay, Sam, I know, but that's like accepted lore nowadays. Like vampire goes out in the sun, boom, goes up like a firework.
Yeah, it's like how zombies don't eat brains, except in what is it, Night of the Living Dead Part 2?
Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Yeah, that was the first time
Actually,
they
it was
actually
the
said brains.
Was the first one actually?
Yeah. Anyway, so
bring back vampires that don't burst into flames. That's all I'm saying.
Would you rather they sparkle?
No. Oh no! I mean, make them frightening no matter what. Again, like, bring back that time where they had no weakness. Okay, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
So far my favorite. I've been reading Dracula by Bram Stoker. Those vampires are terrifying.
We'll save this for the second. We'll save this for for the second segment.
Yeah. All right.
To make vampires great again.
All right, so that's the $20 tier. You get the issue 2 plus the variant plus the print. Okay, so I noticed that there is another $20 tier. What makes that one different from the other one?
It's another $20.
It's basically going to be. It gives you a chance to get the issue 1 variant.
Oh, you mean Antonella's variant?
Yep.
Okay, because those who might have missed our first campaign and have come around to the Mythoverse since then would not have had a chance to get the Antonella variant. Now, the Antonella variant was that beautiful triptych group that was essentially 3 different paintings that joined into one. That was...
Stop that dial, Dan, because Cody just tweeted out that he just backed us.
He just backed us? Okay, hold
And
on.
we're at $270.
$270 and 5 backers. Ooh. All right, we're on off to a good start. So yeah, thank you very much, Cody. Thank you. Cody's our main man over there. He's a fellow Wicked creator, and we had an exciting last day of his campaign. Let me tell you, I don't think I've seen that much energy in our community since like late 2017, early 2018, when everyone was really coming together to boost everyone else up. You know.
It's a great thing that Jack Irons.
Yeah, I was very happy.
Pretty inspiring.
I was very happy to see that fund, and I'm really glad that what was it, like 6 of us all offered free books, and 7 of us offered crossover illustrations, as a way to help boost him, and I absolutely love that sort of cooperation, because it's all about being able to produce these great stories that are within all of us, and to get them out and make beautiful things, good, beautiful things for everyone to enjoy. And I think Jack Irons is definitely one of those, and I was very happy to see that fun. So thank you, Cody, for helping us get this just a little bit closer to that finish line for Matt and Beth here with Mythics number 2.
All I have to say is that there is a reference to Jack Irons in the introduction to the Writer's Notebook, mainly because of Cody's unique contribution to getting it all started up.
Oh. Now, would this have anything to do with Twitter DM jail?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want me to talk about that, or you want to save it for the Writer's Notebook?
We can talk about it.
Okay.
I talk about hard time in Twitter jail.
Yeah. So what happened was during Cody's first Jack Irons campaign, he was doing his normal ultra super hard hustle, spending an exorbitant amount of energy communicating out his project on Twitter, either directly or through direct messaging. And I believe he got a little bit too zealous, and there was a point where he got thrown into DM jail, where he could not participate in direct messaging or group chats, because apparently he had done too much of it. Don't know the specifics, but that's what he said. So upon hearing this, I said, hey, why don't I create like a bolt hole in case you need to talk with everybody, and you're not able to use Twitter to do so. So since I'm a software developer, I was already on Slack, so it was as simple as creating another work group, and I fired that up, and I was able to invite a whole bunch of people into the Slack channel. A lot of folks came in, but only a few people stayed. The people that stayed were Brett, Matt, myself, and our good friend Tank. And a couple of the people came and went, but it was mainly us that stayed. So within the Slack channel is where the seeds of the Mythoverse were sown, because Matt and Brett started talking about each other's stories, and Matt's was set. It was based on the Cunning Folk, and Brett's was based off of Celtic mythology, and they meshed together very well. And who was it that suggested the actual name of the Mythoverse? Was it you, Matt?
That was Matt's idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I said it as a placeholder title, and it just stuck.
Yeah, it's nice. It's catchy, and it's appropriate because most of the stories are based off of mythology. You know, hero tales, legends, folklore, that kind of thing. It's a very rich and deep well to draw from, and I think we've all done a great job of it so far. But anyway, so that, and at the same time, I had just completed my Adobe Kroger Knight Errant audiobook, and I decided that I wanted to do a comic because I had found a absolutely dynamite illustrator, Leandro Panganiban, and he had done a number of commissions for me, and I had him draw up a couple of pages to work on a pitch. At that time, I was thinking, hey, I'll try an Arctic Press, I'll try Alterna Comics, I'll try whatever, I'll try Image, you know. Didn't really have a plan, I just was trying to draw up a pitch. And after speaking with Matt and Brett, we said, hey, why don't we add Adobe Kroger to the Mythoverse? So they had already formed the Mythoverse, the seeds of it, with their 2 books. And then when I came on board, everything really began to gel. Like, we found that we had a lot of complementary skills. You know, Brett being very sociable and friendly and likable when he wants to be, I should say, on social media. And he's very good at reaching out to people and building relationships with people, and he's done so a number of times in very beneficial ways. Matt is obviously a very prolific writer. He has a lot of ideas, and once he gets going, I think, did you not come up with a short film treatment for the Mythics property in like 6 hours?
Yeah, well, it was a script.
It was a script, yeah, but you know, that's quite an accomplishment. So you definitely are in your wheelhouse when you're able to sit right and concentrate. And I had a large amount of experience in technology, in infrastructure, business management, what have you, and so we each found out that if we each took on a certain role, then we would get a lot more done than if we all tried to do our own thing. So, and here we are. So we're now, we have one successful Kickstarter campaign. A whole bunch of people have physical copies of our books in their hands. We've launched a Patreon that's off to a good start. We have about 30 backers on it, and we've been able to use it as a test bed to do our own print fulfillment in the future. The one hiccup that came back to bite us with our first campaign was the print fulfillment. That was a bumpy road.
And now we went up a whole $1 with a 6th backer.
Nice. So how much do we have now?
271.
271. All right. Very, very cool.
Well, that's weird.
So what's weird?
The tip. It says $1, but the tip jar says no backers.
Well, it's possible that data point hasn't been updated on the front end yet. Who knows? I trust the total right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's kind of great about how the Mythoverse got started was that we barely had to change anything from our books.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even gotten to the stories. I was just talking about our complementary skills. And once we realized that we should each focus on what we're good at, a lot more stuff got done. But yeah, our stories definitely worked very well together. The only thing I really had to change for Dame Commander number 1 was the identity of the one captive girl I wanted to focus on. And that's really it. And stories do work very well together because what we have here is a very interesting dynamic where Althea is trying to do good in the world, but she has one hand tied behind her back because of the order to which Adobe Kroger belongs.
So is that girl that's captive Adobe's father's brother's nephew's cousin's former room?
No, the current roommate. Okay, you were so close. You were so close. But yeah, they're still splitting the rent. So, yeah. So that is that essentially. The rest you know. As soon as the Kickstarter ended, we sent out a whole bunch of invites to the Discord, and yeah, that grew. I'm really impressed with how active our Discord is and how many amazing creators we've been able to work with as a result of building that community. In fact, one of them is offering up her talents to one of your perks. Isn't that right, Matt?
I'm trying to think where it's at.
Oh, well, you know who I'm talking about, right?
It must be I'll actually sleep right now, and all the all the questions I had. Oh, Mina. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking
It was.
about. It's a cover
Yep.
artist. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get down there. I don't want to derail us too much longer because we still have a couple more tiers to talk about. But when we get to that tier, I'll
That is
revisit
that is the next tier, Matt. That is the next tier, Dan.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's a $30 tier.
Segueing.
So segueing neatly, pledge $30 or more. Talk about that for us, Matt.
Well, it adds on the Mythoverse Year 1 Omnibus, which is basically everything involving the Mythoverse over the past year in a single collection.
Okay, now that's going to be a perfect bound graphic novel.
Yep.
I believe it's going to have 148 pages of content, and it's going to include Adobe Kroger issue 1, Mythics issue 1, Changeling issue 1, and all 35 of the Mytho-Chibi's comic strips, in addition to commentary about those comic strips and community art.
And there's going to be a digital version for those in a later tier, because there's always going to be that one person that wants the digital version to read.
Of course. So I'm assuming that's the $35 tier, includes the digital edition of the omnibus and also digital prints.
Yep.
Okay, so the digital prints, I think that's I'm scrolling down to them right now. Those are the prints that we offered in our first Kickstarter campaign. The Luigi Terrell print, the Action Trio by Leandro Panganaban, the penciler for Adobe Kroger Demon Commander, and Beach Day Interruptus by Leandro Seva, jokingly referred to as Leandro II, because I had hired him without realizing he was also called Leandro, and I just thought that was pretty neat. I had commissioned another piece from him and a third one, but he got too busy to complete the third one. And I should try reaching out to him to see if he's available now. But he ended up taking on a very large commission, and as you can see from his talent, he's definitely justified to be in demand. So I'll reach out to him again and see if he's available to do any work, but he hasn't been for a while. So. And the Year 1 Omnibus will feature this cover here that I have on the screen right now. And who brought us this cover?
That is... Sorry, Matt, you say that.
Well, it is Mina.
Mm-hmm.
And she's, as you can tell, extraordinarily talented.
She is extraordinarily talented. She has all three Mythoverse ladies lovingly rendered here. We have Adobe in her Crusader hoodie with a sword, looking very thoughtful. We have Althea channeling some magic here, looking exquisitely thoughtful as well. Down here we have Maeve, who looks very distressed that she is in Banshee form. So this is probably taken from that moment in Changeling issue 1 where she realizes what she's become. And down here in the lower right hand side we see her versions of the Mytho-Chibis, which are like damn near carbon copies of Antonella's renderings. So I'm very, very impressed at how closely she matched that style.
It's definitely very rare to find an artist who can complement another.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as though she copied Antonella's style. She took the elements of Antonella's style that make Antonella's style what it is and made it her own. Like, I could glance at this and say, oh, look, it's Antonella's Mytho-Chibis, but it's actually not. So it's a perfect recreation. So this will be the cover of the omnibus right here. And this, I believe, was her very first commission, or at least a professional commission that she did, and she was very excited to do it, and she put her heart and soul into it. And not only did she do a very good job, but she's a rare artist that actually keeps you up to date with her progress and stages, so you know that she's working on it. You know, like she sent us the pencil sketches. She sent us inks for each individual character and asked for feedback as she was going along. She sent in the flats. She sent in the shading and said, "Is this good?" And like she didn't just do the whole thing and say, "Here you go, pay me." She actually worked with us throughout the entire process to make sure we were satisfied before she assembled it and sent it off to us. So I think she's got a good career ahead of her. She's definitely got her head on her shoulders the right way. She's got a great work ethic, and she's very pleasant to work with. And talking with her over DMs is so cute, you'll probably get cavities. So sweet. Okay. Like, so,
you get diabetes.
Yeah, you get diabetes from her sweetness. So yeah, so that is the $30 and $35 tier will get you a physical and digital of this omnibus, and the $35 tier will get you digital copies of these prints. Okay, so what is the deal with the $65 tier, Matt?
Well, $65 you get basically everything in digital format.
Okay.
So yeah, you got the issue 1, issue 2, the Prince collection, and the omnibus.
Okay, sweet.
And
now, just so we clarify, the omnibus is 148 pages of comics. That's a lot. That's a lot of story and a lot of comics to read.
Oh yeah, and it's supposed to also include the writer's notebook, but I guess that didn't add in with the duplicate.
Well, I think you can still edit the tier before someone backs it. So if you want to go ahead and do that and see if you can do that while we're talking, go ahead and do that. Okay, so there's 2 left. So we have the $85 tier, the Ultimate Collection. So what's that?
That's everything, except with the exception of the issue 1 variant.
Okay. And the $95 tier that we have a backer on, and I think I know who that is.
Salem backed on the highest one, so I'm assuming that's what he means. And that's the same as below, except with the issue 1 variant.
Okay, so you get the Antonella variant in addition to everything else. So you have a lot of options here, a lot of value, I'd say. The thing that I'm most impressed at is the level of content you're offering for newcomers to the Mythoverse with the Omnibus collections. For anyone that missed our first campaign, you're giving them an opportunity to read Adobe Kroger and Changeling and Mythic Chibis all in one shot here, which is pretty neat to have all in one place. So you'll get a chance to read them all quickly side by side and see if you can spot any of the things that tie them together and theorize where we're going to go. It's pretty neat. So here's actually the I have on screen right now the image of the Antonella triptych variant. So it goes here from left to right, Althea, Maeve, and Adobe. And what I loved about this was that Antonella took our instructions and just blew them away. Like we said, we want Althea to look like a wood carving, like a pagan wood carving. We want Maeve to look like, a Celtic painting, put a lot of knots and patterns in there, and she totally did that. And for Adobe, we want her to look like one of those flat medieval tapestries where they look like paper dolls, and there's no real foreshortening or anything. And she did that very well. So, all right.
Yeah, one of the comments I got about the issue about our changing it up for the Kickstarters is that they weren't happy about the fact that we were going from 3 books to 1. So that's what made me think about the best way to compensate for that.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Well, the reason that we went from 3 books to 1 is so that we can avoid some pitfalls that will result in like a poor experience for our backers. The problem with running a Kickstarter with 3 different creative teams is that what happens if one team finishes and the other 2 don't, and we promised and only budgeted to ship them all at once, it starts getting complicated. Or
I mean,
yeah.
If we did anything right with that first Kickstarter, though, was that we got eyes on the brand, and
Yeah, for our first Kickstarter, I think we did a very good job. The only hiccup was the print fulfillment. In terms of digital fulfillment, though, everyone got a chance to read our books within at least 3 to 4 weeks of the campaign completing. I know Adobe went out immediately on the date. I think Mythics went out a week or two later, and Changeling right after that. So,
I mean, that is something I'd like to see more indie creators start doing. I mean, especially if they're going to crowdfund, like, just send out a digital PDF copy of the book when it's finished. That way, if you get tied up in printing, the backers know it got done at least, and they've got something to hold them over.
Right. And it's all about the story, and I know the huge part of comics collecting is the floppy and being able to hold the floppy and being able to like put it on a shelf or put it in like a little case to look at it, because a lot of the art's very, very gorgeous and all that. But ultimately what we're selling is stories. So if your story is done, yeah, get it to the backers if you can, so that they can read the story and, as Brett said, at least have proof that the work was complete. And the only thing that remains is to get it printed. So, real quick, let's go over the stretch goals, Matt.
Our stretch, it's going to be very simple.
Okay.
The stretch goal is issue 3.
Perfect stretch goal. I love it.
Yeah.
So if you get to $9,000, issue 3 will be fully funded, and Bethy will be able to just start drawing it immediately, because you already have this all planned out. You have all the scripts.
Yep.
So the stories are ready to go. We just have to pay Bethy to draw them.
Exactly, and I put it as 9,000 so that I could have a little buffer too, in case something comes up with the story.
Okay.
Such as I need to add in something.
Nice. So, we're coming up on 10 o'clock, so that's our game hour, but we're not done yet. I just want to go over the goals and rewards section here, because you had a lot of interesting ideas to incentivize spreading the word about the campaign. So, could you go over that for us real quick, Matt?
Yes, I can. Basically, the first round is Facebook shares and Twitter retweets. So if there's 50 of either one, I'll be releasing a document that I refer to as the recent history of the Mythic Order, which is the 20th century up to 2007.
And that's when Mythics 1 takes place.
Yep. And if it gets 100 shares / retweets, I'll be releasing a document called The History of the Mythic Order, which is basically 1 AD to 1900 AD.
Nice.
And at 200 retweets, it'll be the founding of the Mythic Order, which is set in 334 BC.
And the only thing people have to do to unlock all this extra content is just share the campaign.
Yep.
That's a great deal and a great incentive. Like, this is all stuff that enriches the universe, enriches the book, enriches the story. And it's there for you free as long as you help get the word out. And it's not just one person retweeting it 50 times. It's 50 retweets altogether, right?
Exactly.
So you're keeping track of every time someone shares a post with regard to the campaign, and as soon as it hits that number, you release that that document. So very good idea, very cool. Don't think I've seen any other campaigns doing that. And also you have what? Go ahead.
Well, I learned that from a Battletech Kickstarter, but that was they release short stories.
Okay.
Or artwork, art galleries.
Nice. All right, so you have first day amount goals too. So what are those?
So basically, it depends. It's rewards that are given out based on how much it's made on the first day. So $600 would be probably about 16% of the goal. So it'll be the volume 1 plot outline. So you'll have the document of what's going to happen in volume 1. But since volume 1 isn't done yet, you'll also be able to keep track of what's going to change.
Okay. And go ahead.
Okay. At 800, it's the volume 1 scene breakdown, which is basically, again, another way of keeping track of what's going to change, what gets taken out, and so on. And with $1,000, which was the original, the first day goal for the Mythiverse campaign, the original issue 1 script, which you could see how much different the first issue was.
Okay, cool. And then we have the weekly goals after that.
Yeah, so basically these are the goals this is the amount that we make at the end of specific weeks, such as if I get $2,000, and at the end of the second week, it'll be a volume 1 appendix, character bios, which is basically you get the biography of a short biography of each character in the book.
Okay.
If it reaches 3K first week, it'd be a glossary so that you'll understand what the certain definitions are.
Okay.
And if it gets 4K for the fourth week, which is the end goal, it's a series of reports referred to as Althea's reports. So y'all get to read Althea's thoughts as in volume 1.
Yeah, and I think you wrote something like that for our Narratus Mythologica audiocast, where she was recounting her first trip into to Gallatin City.
Yep, and it's basically going to be what I really want to do is expand upon the world, but it costs money for comics.
Yeah, it definitely does cost money. If you want to like add a whole bunch of, illustrated pages explaining this stuff, that takes time for your artist to draw them. You have to pay the artist and all of that.
Yep.
And that's the double-edged sword. Comics are expensive to produce, so you have to do this really delicate balancing act of how much story do I need to include along with world building while staying within budget and completing the story satisfactorily. That's always something that's like you're always tipping one direction or the other. It's tricky. It's a fine line. It's definitely a craft all on its own.
Oh my god, I just thought of something.
What was that?
Oh.
You mentioned Althea writing a report, right? Writing reports, right?
Yeah.
If you have her write one about starfish, then it would be a JoJo reference.
No.
Of course, Dylan went there.
Yeah. Well, everything's a JoJo reference. Just like The Simpsons did it, that kind of thing.
Especially when Dylan does it.
All right, so that is an overview, an in-depth overview of the Kickstarter campaign. We went through all the tiers, we went through all the stretch goals and first day goals and weekly goals, and I think it's solid. I think we have not only a well-planned campaign here with a lot of value, a lot of cool options and rewards, but a cool story to fund from it. So I'm really happy to see how this all came together. Matt did this all on his own. He drove this entirely. I mean, he bounced ideas off of us, but all of these things were his brainchild. So this campaign is definitely Matt's baby. So I'm definitely thrilled to see where it goes. So great job, Matt. Great job getting this all together. Great job getting all the sample pages complete, and they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I believe Dylan mentioned that he thought that Bethy definitely stepped up her game, and I agree. Well, I guess I just like seeing her in a bathing suit. I guess I don't know.
That looks more like her clothes got torn to bits.
Yeah, I know. It's her underwear.
Also, you know, it might just be me, but Althea's expression in that one panel, that just kind of kills it. That just kills it for me. It's just like,
well,
like she looks like.
Well, why would the Spriggan rip off
She
her
looks-
clothes?
She looks like she has really been she really looks inconvenienced there.
Oh, of course she is.
Well, for the Spriggan ripping off the clothes, well, obviously can't turn them inside out.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's
That's
just,
what I was waiting
it's just
for.
funny to me though, just because this should be a dangerous situation, and she just looks like, oh god, I have to put up with this.
Those guys. Oh god. Anyway, so yeah, the Spriggan can't see you.
Everybody likes looking at her.
Yeah, so the Spriggan can't see you if you turn your clothes inside out. That's their weakness, right, Matt?
yeah, and I decided to make it so that we establish the rule that it has to be a certain amount of clothing. It can't be you have a bathing suit on and you turn it inside out, and that's all.
Yeah, I could just walk in like a Speedo inside out, and they couldn't see me. Yeah, that would be terrible.
And only, like Malthea said, it's got to cover half your body, so no.
Yes, so that's why up here on this first sample page, when she's walking with I guess that's based off someone we know, this pink-haired person.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat knows who that is.
Yeah, okay. Everyone in the chat knows who Morella is modeled after, but that's why Althea here, even though she's in a bathing suit, she's got a coat on. Because she has to at least have that much of her body covered with inside-out clothing to be hidden from the Spriggan, right?
Yep,
Right.
exactly.
Sweet. All right. Well, great. This page here, her colors are just magnificent. I mean, look here. It's like very clearly dusk. You can see the last bits of the sunset silhouetting the cityscape over here, and this moon here looks absolutely ethereal. It's floating in the twilight sky here, and down here the stars look randomly placed, and they look organic and real, and everything's wonderful here. And this Celtic rune here, what was the inspiration for that?
Well, it's there so that as something that Althea had to pick up for her training.
Okay. You know what's funny, and I mentioned this to Matt in our admin channel in our Discord. It's not immediately apparent because the hair usually covers it, but Adobe does have a Celtic knot tattoo on the back of her neck, and I had to double check that wasn't the same symbol I used. and if it was, that would have been glorious, and I would have said, okay, there's our tie-in. But unfortunately, it was similar, but it was actually quite distinct from it. So, alas.
Well, if we were to, now I feel like we still talked about it.
Yeah, well, we probably should have. But it's the thing is, Adobe got that tattoo not because it has any special meaning. To use her own words, she just likes big, thick, black, symmetrical lines. That's it. So maybe it's a subconscious thing. That's something we might be able to explore later. But anyway, there's the campaign. There's the book, Mythics issue 2 from the Mythoverse. It's launched. It's off to a good start already, and we got 30 days. So let's get this going. Spread the word, people. Let's get this book made. Let's continue the Mythoverse. Up next is Changeling. When we're done with this one, and Adobe is bringing up the rear. So we got all of our number 2s on deck to launch this year, and Mythics is the first one out of the gate, so let's make it happen. All right, thanks everyone for listening for this hour and checking out the campaign. Thank you so much to everyone that's backed already, and just tell your friends, tell your family, anyone that you think would like a fun paranormal mystery thriller story. Think of Elfie as like a female paranormal cross between Constantine and Sherlock Holmes. Anyway, so with that said, we're going to go into our second hour, and I'll fire up a game. So, and anything you guys been wanting to talk about that wasn't related to the Kickstarter campaign, now's the time. So,
Also known as the segment where we unfetter Dylan.
Yeah, unfetter Dylan. I'm just gonna fire up.
Hey, I was actually going to talk about something pretty cool. Thank you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Dude, I'm just yanking your chains.
Okay, there's this game. It's called Dreams, where you can like make your own sort of like video game or something, your own animations, everything. It's like super in depth and everything, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, I was gonna go into it more soon when I have time, but I had this idea for like an Adobe Kroger like type game, where like the action would be more akin to something you see in like the Yakuza games or something. But I have to figure everything out first.
It'll be a good test project for you. You'll teach yourself something new and make something cool.
And I had another idea where it would be like, where it would look black and white with all the lines and everything, like to make it look like the comic.
Yeah, that would be great. I know it. I really
kind of like that Mad World game that was on Wii.
Nice.
Something kind of.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen people. It takes a long time to like get something. It took this one guy like 300 hours to like make a complete thing.
All these things take time. I mean, especially if you're working all by yourself. It took Concerned Ape like 5 years to get Stardew Valley done. So
right.
It's a long and painful process sometimes, but if you're learning something new and it's fun, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, just when I have the time, I plan on messing around with it.
When you do get the time, definitely share what you've got. It's exciting.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sad that this is only on PlayStation 4.
Okay, no, someone made like a remake of the Final Fantasy remake, like within that game, and it's like freaking crazy, like what they did. I posted links in in the Creator Club channel, and it's like, oh my god, it's. Ooh.
We got Wicked Publishing in the chat.
Hey,
welcome.
Like this is literally like the game I've always wanted.
And now you have it.
And now I have it, and now I don't know what to do.
You know, this is funny.
How about play it?
From an old man's perspective, there was a game called Adventure Construction Set on the Commodore 64 that let you make like a tile-based role-playing game. And they literally...
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it had so many options, and it was so versatile that I was quite literally lost.
I've actually got some animations going for Adobe herself, but you know they need polish.
Of course, yeah. Well, don't be afraid to show any work in progress. I mean, you won't laugh hard. No, I'm kidding. I'm really excited to see what you come up with, man.
With the exception of Neville.
Oh well, Neville.
I borrowed a template from someone, and I've been working from there.
Nice.
I'll endeavor to laugh harder then.
No, it actually came out pretty decent.
I'm messing with you, dude. Oh yeah, I think I remember. I guess after he's done with this game, he asked me about the found.
He asked you about the what?
The founding father chans.
Oh, the founding father chans. Yes.
Yes.
I think you just recently finished. Well, you did Samuel Adams Chan. You did Hamilton Chan. Who else? Did I miss any?
Just
George Washington.
Oh yeah, did George.
Well, I mean,
Washington.
I did. Yeah, I did George Washington a while ago, but I just finished. learning stuff about Paul Revere was actually pretty.
Oh,
Because
you're doing Paul Revere
especially-
Chan. You broke up. I missed what you said, but you said you're doing Paul Revere Chan.
I already did Paul Revere Chan.
Oh, I
She's
must have missed
she's
that
up
one.
on Twitter right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I must have missed that one.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to decide
know
what my
what?
favorite one is. I love Jefferson Chan and Franklin Chan the best so far, I think.
Oh yeah.
So I think Benjamin Franklin Chan is just so much fun. So much you can do with him.
Oh yes. It's kind of Franklin Chan's pretty freaky. It's pretty great.
You can tell just by that expression on her face. It's very,
That's
very
right.
creepy. Just saying.
Discord,
Go ahead.
Discord kicked me off. I was saying if you ever get to later presidents and you get the Nixon.
Oh
I
god.
mean, I already did Nixon.
Oh, what?
Oh no.
I've
Yeah,
already
Nixon was like one of the first ones he did.
I did. I mostly did it just because I thought it would be funny, and then I committed
Have
to
her go,
doing the
"Oh,
Founding
ooh."
Fathers.
Instead-
I already,
instead of-
dude. I already did that.
God damn. Mm.
That was like the first thing I thought of doing with them.
I think the Founding Fathers is my favorite conceit out of all of them, though, because you can use the period clothing, like the leggings and the buckle shoes and the great
Right.
coats and everything.
Oh yeah.
Don't look at the tape, Baka.
Yeah,
What
Nixon
the
would
fuck was
definitely
that
be-
from, Salem?
Yeah, that was me.
But yeah, the Founding Fathers is really fun to do. So, one of the things that was kind of interesting about doing Sam Adams Chan is that not Sam Adams, fucking Paul Revere Chan, is that Paul Revere was one of the more like working class founding fathers. Most of them were like scholars and lawyers and upperclassmen of various descriptions. But Paul
I think,
Revere,
I think the Adams were definitely aristocrats by the standard of the day.
yeah, and Paul Revere was more of a working class. He was a trade.
He was a blacksmith, wasn't he?
He was a silversmith.
A silversmith. Yeah,
Yep.
silversmith. That's right.
Yep,
They
his
were austere scholars.
oof. But yeah, he was trained by his dad, who was a goldsmith, and he was a Huguenot that immigrated over to the U.S. So he had that training. So he was basically the sort of the middle class voice of the revolution, and he communicated that with political cartoons. And it's kind of interesting to find out that between the political cartoon spy network that he had, those were his really big contributions to the American Revolution before the Midnight Riot. And
Well,
arguably probably the most important ones.
I think I can see why, though, being a working class guy, he would know people.
Yeah, he basically took a lot of the really intricate and verbose and really well thought out essays that like the founding fathers would make, like Jefferson or Adams, kind of articulate arguments that they would make, and he kind of concentrate them into pictures, and that's how the common man would get behind the revolutionary. Like one of the ones that really stood out was the obviously the most famous one was Picture of Boston, but that one he kind of plagiarized from a different artist. Besides which, I think his most influential cartoon was the one that he did for the Tea Act, where he drew a picture of a British aristocrat pouring tea down the throat of a Native American, which was an image that's later echoed in the Boston Tea Party, where they all dressed up in Native American disguises and hurled the tea back into the harbor.
That's cultural appropriation.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it isn't, but
We're gonna get shut down.
I mean, if we weren't already. But yeah, there's
Them
something.
Sons of Liberty, they took our germ.
Oh. Oh, but yeah, that was something that was pretty fascinating to find out. Is the connection between like that cartoon and the actual Boston Tea Party event? It's kind of this life imitating art kind of thing, or life drawing inspiration from art, and it's kind of an interesting connection.
Well, it's too bad he died. I was hoping to get some commissions out of him.
I'm not sure he would be too keen about copyright. He'd probably be better off.
That's funny.
Oh man. But yeah, the whole process with the founding father chants has been really fascinating, and I'm working on making them into kind of a free webcomic, or just like a 4-coma kind of deal, where take like a topic about the day and like do a quick little gag with them. Like one of the beta ones that I've worked on is kind of the account of
Shit.
Adam.
I gotta go. I'll be right back.
But yeah, the first one I've been working on was kind of an account. Dan. In real life, he mostly found out about him through writing, because Jefferson couldn't make it to the First Continental Congress. But he wrote his opinion about where stand in relation to Britain in writing. Basically, they needed to take a stand for independence against Britain because Britain doesn't recognize their rights, and that was kind of the same position Adams took. And basically, it's like finding somebody on Twitter who's saying exactly what you think and deciding they're your best friend now.
Hey guys, I gotta get going, but I just want to say, Matt, congratulations on the launch of Mythics 2, and hope it does well.
Thank you very
I
much.
hope so too.
Thank you for
See
everything,
you all.
Alabaster.
No problem.
Later.
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 Okay, I'm back.
And another thing that's funny and interesting about the Founding Fathers chant is that it's a good way to disseminate facts, and much like Paul Revere did, in a way that's more accessible to someone who might not otherwise be interested in them or understand them.
Yeah, and I kind of there is a way, like a mentality I wanted to avoid with trying to reach the kids somehow. It's like it's mostly I'm mostly doing it because it's fun.
How do I reach these kids?
As a U.S. history nerd, I appreciate the Founding Father chant.
I look forward to connecting to the kids. I got hair. Which
Oh,
they
God.
Can just rub up on.
You just had to go there, Salem. You just had to go.
Instantly taken down stream.
Well,
You
there goes our.
can't criticize our guy.
I'm
If anyone takes on the
amazed.
stream, it's definitely Corn Pop. He is the one. He is always taking down my streams.
Is he a bad dude?
Oh, he is the baddest. I'll tell you what.
Okay. All right, I'm watching this stream right now. We're still not down, so I guess we're good for now.
I'm watching it too. I can confirm, not down.
Would it be too much to ask for a Joe
That is
Biden
why
chant?
you need to back Mythics.
Oh.
That way.
I don't think the world is ready for Joe Biden chant.
Look, Joe
I don't-
Biden can be touching himself.
I don't think the world is ready for it.
All right, you know what? I gotta look it up. I gotta see if there's already
Ready
a
for
joke.
what?
Oh God.
Oh God, if
for
he doesn't
what?
find one, then he's gonna make it.
Oh, I don't know yet. I am making it a point to avoid modern presidents for now.
He's not
If
even
only-
president. He's just running.
Modern
What-
figures.
What's a Chan?
Where am I?
You called me a Chan. What's that mean? Does it mean like I'm related to Jackie Chan or something?
Holy shit. Oh no.
Cause Jackie Chan, he's down with the kids. He's hip, right? It is just what I need to get some popularity.
Oh no.
What have we done?
Okay, let's see what.
I don't know, but I'm enjoying it.
Somebody has, but it's a little disappointing.
I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Okay. There was another post that said that it's something. Sure, but yeah, I've been trying to avoid modern political figures. If only one, there's already art of a lot of them that way, and two, I kind of want to focus on like the more historical ones, especially the more obscure ones.
But I'm historical. I'm even running a woman as my vice president. You don't get more historical than that.
You know, any point. I know he wasn't president at this time, but are you going to include Andrew Jackson? Because he was a Revolutionary War veteran.
Please,
I'm
yes.
his biggest fan.
Oh, no.
Okay, Andrew Jackson, Shan goes without saying she's just a hothead.
Oh yes, I need to. Eventually, I'm going to do like a compilation of the different Chans that got into Kane fights. Like have one with Wilton Chan, have one with Jackson Chan.
Are you gonna have an
Andrew
Aaron Burr
Jackson?
Chan?
Yes, you know what? I really want to do an Aaron Burr Chan.
Unfortunately, he kills Hamilton.
My favorite part was when Jackson beat the poor people to death. It really reminds me of myself.
Hey, can I point out something? Can I point out something to Joe Biden here?
Uh-oh. I said the quiet part out loud.
Okay. So, you aren't the first person to run with a woman as vice president. John McCain beat you to it.
Oh,
he
yeah.
didn't win that loser.
What about Geraldine Ferraro in the 80s?
He lost in the presidential election. He ain't a winner.
This is true. Debs loved John McCain because he knew how to quote-unquote lose with dignity.
Are we talking about politics in here?
Oh no.
Oh boy. Hold on, let me see who
It's my arch nemesis.
Yep.
Oh, you want to go out? You want to go out back? Let's go out back.
Wait, Mr. Biden, your nemesis was Corn Pop.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, there's Trumps and there's Corn Pops. Oh my God, this whole world has gone upside down. Now you see, this is why you need to vote for me. So please go to joe.30.30 and you'll see how I can bring this country around to, I don't know, we'll put the metal poles in the waffles and we'll make sure that our butter crisp is ready for action.
Well, you know, I'm glad to know that we have somebody. Thank you.
No problem. Vote for me, and I will bring back Andrew Jackson's policy.
Oh my God!
So you're gonna break at the banks?
Oh no! I said the quiet part out loud again.
Wait.
If you're gonna bring back Jacksonian policies, that means you have to stop bailing out banks and break them up.
It also means that you need to do something with a certain amount of blankets.
Wait, that reminds me.
Well, we'll make
Neville.
sure that we send them to only MAGA supporters.
Neville, are we gonna get a Nicholas Biddle Chan?
You know what? That sounds like something I want to research.
Well, do you know who Nicholas Biddle was?
I do not.
Okay.
I knew him in high
He's the
school.
reason that Andrew Jackson went after the banks. It's a really sad, stupid story, like a lot of Andrew Jackson stories. So what happened was during the election, I forgot which race it was specifically, but Nicholas Biddle, to go against Andrew Jackson, published a lot of slanderous articles about Andrew Jackson's wife.
He's the guy behind the petticoat affair?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
All I remember is that after that whole, he wasn't the only one, but he was a big figure. And after that whole affair, Andrew Jackson's wife later died, and he blamed it on them for the extra stress of them basically calling his wife a harlot. And so, because of this, he decides, you know what, I hate Nicholas Biddle, I'm going after the banks. Because Nicholas Biddle was the head of the, I don't want to say Federal Reserve, like National Bank of the time. And so in traditional Andrew Jackson fashion, you slighted me, I'm going to destroy everything you worked for.
That's my favorite
Because
thing
Andrew
about
Jackson's
him.
just a crazy motherfucker.
Yeah, he is. Oh, man.
Speaking of obscure Revolutionary
way,
War
I'm just-
figures, are you
I'm
going
just
to
gonna
include
add-
Joseph? Are you going to include Joseph Warren?
You know what? I kind of want to look. That's another person I should look up and see what I'm gonna do with. Because there are no bad suggestions, no matter how pure. I want to find and turn it into an anime girl.
I fully expect to see within the next week Andrew Jackson Chan versus Nicholas Biddle Chan. If not, you lose internet points.
Well, what about my Chan?
What about it?
Drew says Kennedy
I
and Lee
need
Harvey
it.
Oswald
I
Chan.
need to win.
Oh,
This
no.
Senate race isn't going to win itself, you know?
You're running for president.
Okay, Drew Tid in the chat is asking for Kennedy and Lee Harvey Oswald Chan.
I'll get there
Oh, Lee
eventually.
Harvey Oswald. I like that guy.
And then Ruby Chan.
And or down.
Oh, man.
He was friends with Corn Pop.
Fuck.
It was a shame that Lee Harvey Oswald got killed by President Kennedy.
Now, you did a Nixon Chan. Did you do a Deep Throat Chan?
You
Okay,
know
that
what?
one would get.
Oh, the implications of that.
Yeah.
Wait, I must have misheard that one. What?
No, that's right. That's what the person who disseminated the Watergate called themselves.
Deep throat.
Deep.
Right.
I can go deep. I'll go deep into this race.
Deep in the Senate race, huh?
By the way, one of the
Well,
things
I'm gonna be DMing you the Wikipedia page for Joseph Warren.
Okay. So one of the things that I really liked, or one of the things I found out about doing all the research on these really early campaigns is like, you think they're dirty now. Back in the 18th and 9th century, that shit got brutal.
Yeah, let's just put it this way: we don't. At least our politicians aren't having duels. Well,
Yeah.
I gotta say, you want to see a brutal campaign? Look at the campaign Thomas Jefferson went through.
Oh, dude, that was actually what I
campaign-
was thinking about. That one was
The campaign for
insane.
whom?
Jefferson versus Adams.
Yeah, makes the Clinton-Trump campaign look like a kindergarten match.
This John Adams guy, he's completely
Wait.
fake news.
Wait, he was going to. But I thought Adams and Jefferson were friends, though.
They were until the campaign. Well, more accurately, they started having a during Washington's presidency, and that was when they started to have friction.
Well, to be fair, Clint's like Trump until he decided to run for president.
That is true.
I've been trying to figure out how to do that because I know I want to draw. They're Abigail Adams.
They're all lesbians.
Oh,
Benjamin Franklin Chan.
I don't know. Oh man.
Oh my gosh. Do you guys have you guys heard the parody song of that? It's Bill Clinton. I forgot the name of the song, but it's a little bit of da 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 da. What's the name of that
It's not
song?
ringing a
A
bell.
little bit of Erica by my side. Yeah.
The Mambo number 5
A little bit
parody.
of Monica.
Oh no.
You've never seen that?
I think I have.
Yeah, it sounds like Bill Clinton singing it. He lays out all a little bit of Hillary. I'm on ice.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, basic with the campaigns, they accused each other thing from being a bastard son of like Cherokees or something to like conspiring to destroy the country to selling us out to France.
Oh, even better was sometimes the accusations that would make you look bad is, did you know this man does not support slavery?
In the South, it would definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be true for a lot of them. Like, did you know Jefferson doesn't support slavery? Neither does Adams. Fuck you. I don't know. I don't think that's how that actually went.
Did you know we were just told to go drink bleach?
Oh my god.
It's true.
All I'll just say is, like, should we consider it a blessing that nowadays politicians don't break out into duels at sunrise these days?
I wish.
No, we unfortunately we are not getting the correct people out of the gene pool because of that. So
Maybe we should bring back dueling then.
yeah, exactly. I mean, then we would actually have people with at the bare minimum hand-eye coordination.
Here, I'm gonna post something in meme. Let's see here.
This ought to be juicy.
Here you go.
Juicy. I don't like juicy.
Juicy just makes me want a steak.
Juicy makes me think
No. Steaks are for white supremacists because Trump eats steak.
Yeah, and he eats his steak with ketchup.
Hey, Joe Biden.
Exactly what a Nazi would do.
Hey, Joe Biden. What do you think about Trump eating Mexican food?
It's a cover up by the Russians.
Is the stream still up? Yeah. Is the stream still up? Did you
yeah,
try to take this down?
Yeah, it's still up, man. But the
Miraculously,
meme is so
It is glorious.
so perfect.
Andrew Jackson is my favorite figure in American history. Not because he was a great guy. He was a terrible person. But damn, he was interesting and crazy.
Oh, did you hear about the time when somebody tried to assassinate him? What he did afterward?
I probably heard this story, but please remind me.
He beat his assassin with a cane,
Yep.
and his own bodyguards had to hold him back.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
And while he was beating him, he was yelling constantly and repeatedly, "Don't you know who the F I am?"
Still, you had Teddy who got shot while he was giving an election speech, and not only did he survive the bullet.
Just one shot. I have to keep this short.
No, not only did he survive with I
would
can continue
stay,
to give his
but
speech
I have a
with the
bullet
bullet.
in my body.
I have to keep it short. 3 hours
You can't-
later.
You can't kill the bull moose.
Takes more than that
sir-
to kill a bull moose.
Sir, you're bleeding. We need to get you out of here.
Let me finish.
I haven't got time to bleed.
Have you seen the? I forgot the name of this channel, but this guy made a video called Teddy Roosevelt, the manliest president in U.S. history, and he made this hilarious joke where his doctor calls him up and says, "Mr. President, you should not be doing things to trigger asthma." And on the other end, he's like, "I'm gonna have to hold you there, right there, Chief." And then he goes, "Where are you?" And then the camera zooms out. He's like climbing a big mountain.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Theodore Roosevelt was super interesting because he just powered through everything. Like, he, through force of will, got over being a frail, sickly child with asthma to become one of the most energetic presidents ever.
Yeah.
It became
Absolute madman.
So
It became-
yes.
I have the meme up in the stream right now.
Andrew Jackson. Someone throwing shade. My face when it's time to. Oh man.
So let's go right from that to some more good
Boy,
news.
and I thought that was crazy.
Mythics is up to $2.99 with 7 backers now.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Nicely done,
Corn
Matt.
Pop stole the
you.
$1 to not make it 300.
Halfway to the day
Don't-
one goal in like 2 hours.
Yeah,
Let's
nicely
go.
done.
Yeah.
Nicely done, Matt. We're just starting to get the word out too, so I have a very good feeling about this. So let's keep
Hey
it
man, tell me when it's up to 420.
up.
I'm gonna put in an extra $10 if it gets up to there, just to screw that up.
Vote for me, and I'll make sure that the devil's lettuce never gets smoked again. Thank you.
No, that's gonna lose you votes, Joe.
No, are you
no.
doing?
What? That'll lose me votes. But don't the kids, aren't they all about the Gangnam Styles and stuff these days? I thought they were done with smoking dope.
They're never done. They're never done smoking dope, Joe.
When this stream decayed from, hey guys, we got a new Kickstarter, let's go, to political jokes.
I don't know. We're having too much.
But I'm not
True,
a
it
political
is great.
person.
Of course
I
not.
don't know. We're just having too much fun.
I didn't say it was a bad thing. I just said
That's right. We're all having fun because we're all gonna vote to change. You know. So vote for Obama in 2020.
You know what?
Obama can't run again.
Why
The
not?
changelings partake in the wacky tobacco.
Joe, Obama has already served 2 terms.
But he endorsed me for vice president.
Yes, I'm endorsing you for president.
What? Oh, that's like vice president except with the vice. Oh wow!
I can't even
Alright.
begin to understand what you meant by that.
That's how you know it's accurate, Biden.
Yeah,
I
that is
guess
actually
so.
eerily close to accurate Biden.
It's almost
Okay,
No, there's
Wicked Fellowship
nothing
Master,
more
changelings partake in the wacky tobacco. I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Can I just say
Wait,
that it's
well,
an honor
why
to
else
have
would
a
I Maeve's eyes
presidential
be so
candidate on
red?
stream?
Why else would Maeve's eyes be so red? Says shirtless.
Because
Yoda.
they cry.
What was
Banshees
that, Matt?
cry.
What, is that your name, Matt?
Yes, it is. It is honor to have a presidential candidate on our stream.
Yes, thank you for making the
Yes.
time, Joe. I know you're very busy.
I don't think your name is Matt.
Why would you doubt this?
Joe, he told you
The
his name was
Russians.
Matt.
you just said his name, Joe.
That's what the Russians would have you believe.
I
Hey Joe, why did you
Oh,
tell someone to go vote for Trump?
listen. Just because Ginger is on our team, it doesn't mean we're colluding with the Russians.
I like the ginger who calls herself Rags.
I guess eventually he had to know something.
You know,
Except
at
that
least
she doesn't
Joe
count
has
herself
good
ranks.
taste.
Well, she doesn't call herself ranks. That's the problem.
Shut up, Russian.
If he's talking about the ginger that calls herself Rags, he's referring to Liz.
Oh my goodness.
I would have thought.
I'm referring to the comic that's written by my black friend.
You know, I would have thought Liz was too old for him.
You're
Oh no. Did it just get dark in
We
here?
can't go there.
Yes,
Yeah,
it got very dark.
It got super weird.
Dylan, we can't go
Hold
there.
on.
We've talked
Hold
about
on.
this, man.
double checking. Okay, the stream is still up.
Somehow.
Oh, come on.
We need to start a timer. How long will it take for us to take it down again?
Oh boy.
0 weeks without
So
incident.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to end this by saying, man, Star Trek XNR looks better than what CBS produces.
Well, the
Not-
prelude
not
to
gonna
XNR,
disagree.
yes. Yeah, that was very good, actually. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm always the one that gets pinned. Like, damn it. Pin this crap on me. It
Wait.
wasn't that bad.
Wait, hold on. Was the Axanar prelude released today? Or
It
did I
was
just
released
miss out for a
5 years
while?
ago.
Oh.
They're on.
I was
the
under
full
the
movie.
impression it down.
They're doing the final suits on the movie.
The final lawsuit?
No, the final shooting stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the lawsuit's over. Been over for a while.
Thank God.
Yep. And the only reason why they're not following the draconian new rules is because they were grandfathered in.
Well, small blessing.
Yeah, but you know, it's one of the reasons why I have respect for J.J. Abrams, because he told Paramount and CBS that it was a bad look to sue the fans.
Generally, yeah, I would say it would be a bad look.
Yeah. You know, now that something I kind of learned about behind the scenes when I was watching SF Debris' review on Star Trek Beyond. It kind of seems a lot of where things went wrong wasn't with J.J. Abrams, but with Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci.
Yeah, they're the guys who wrote it. And then there's Damon Lindelof for Into Darkness. Can't stand that guy.
But yeah,
Is Star Trek salvageable at this point? Because it seems like everything Abrams has touched as of late seems to have been, not saying it's his fault, but it seems like everything he's been involved in has kind of been run into the...
It would have been easier to salvage before Picard, I think.
here's the thing about Beyond. It wasn't. This one actually had a shot because the guy that got on, I think it was James Wan. He actually was a fan. And
Justin Lin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also one of the guys who said, "Hey guys, don't sue the fans."
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, like Simon Pegg was actually trying to make something that was faithful to Star Trek.
Yeah.
Although one thing, and I think and this one is Abrams' fault. This was kind of the reason why, even though Into Darkness made money, it did not make as much as Paramount wanted it to.
Well,
Abrams wanted the movie shot in Los Angeles.
Well, there's another reason why it didn't make as much money, because it came out with a huge difference time gap between the first movie and Into Darkness. So it had time to fizzle out all the energy they had for it.
Yeah, but not just that. Like I said, having doing the shooting in Los Angeles, that actually added to the film's budget.
Yeah, but the problem was that CBS had Paramount negotiate for every time they had to do a Star Trek movie. So that's why you had the first one in 2009, second one in 2012 after 3 years, and Beyond in 2016 after 4 years.
Yeah, because I remember like Justin Lin, he actually had he did some more cost-effective shooting out in Dubai. Which actually kind of fit the aesthetic of Star Trek a little better.
Yeah. And
I don't know if you guys ever seen pictures of Dubai. They have a lot of futuristic looking architecture there.
Yeah, they brought in like the foremost architects that they could to even conceive of how to engineer a building like the Burj Khalifa. Like, that was an amazing accomplishment. I watched the whole documentary on that building's construction. It was astounding.
I have to say, out of the 3 Star Trek reboots, Beyond had the most faithful version of Kirk.
I think it was the most faithful Star Trek of all the 3. It was just too little too late at that point. Too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus, I was really sad when Chekhov, the actor who played Chekhov, met an untimely end. I absolutely loved him as Chekhov.
Oh, right, yeah.
I
He
think
was really good.
Anton Yelchin, I think that was his name.
Yes, that was him.
Yep.
I think one of my favorite sequences and the most exploitable is when he says, "I can do that, I can do that," and he's charging through the ship going, "I can do that." I've used that gif so many times at work.
Well, unfortunately, car accidents happen without the involvement of our cars.
Yeah.
Which is it's actually kind of amazing that it was a car accident that got him, because I actually found out through that SF Debris review also, he was also dealing with some health issues on set, but he powered through them anyway.
Yeah. And at least the production team for the Star Trek reboots films, at least they said that they're not recasting Chekhov.
Right.
I think that would have been a really bad move on their part.
Well, it's just, no matter how good the actor was, there's just no way people wouldn't accept him.
Which is unfortunate, but they had someone who was extremely suited for the role.
That was the thing about the Abrams films. The cast was amazing. I love the cast. Not necessarily, they weren't written very well necessarily, but the actors were really good for their roles.
Yeah.
Again, that's down to Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orsi.
Yeah,
Right.
the Kirk in the first 2 was basically the parody Kirk. You know, he slept with any woman he'd find. He's constantly horny.
Which is actually kind of a shame, because if you actually go back, there's actually a lot more nuance and pathos to Kirk.
Yeah, it's just that the writers had no idea what they were doing with the character.
Well, they knew the memes about Kirk. They never really plucked into the shows. They knew, like,
Yeah.
oh, Kirk, he sleeps with green ladies, right? Or, like, Spock says that's illogical every now and then, right? I think what really was irritating was where they got the Bones machine from.
Yeah.
So, you know, oh, why do they call him Bones? I don't know, let's make something up. But he's a sawbones, you idiots.
Yeah, Carl Urban was one of the best parts of the movies.
He was so good as McCoy. He was so good. He not only looked the part, but he did a very good impersonation. DeForest Kelly.
Yeah, and there's one subtle detail that most people will miss, but he wore a ring on his left hand, I believe, and it was something that was noted about how McCoy was the only one who wore a ring on his finger, and it was because DeForest Kelly made it part of his contract that he had to wear that ring. It was to honor his mother.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Yeah, Gene Roddenberry told him, "There's no jewelry in the future." DeForest Kelly said, "I don't care. This is for
Just
my mother."
You don't. You still get you. It's not suddenly wiped from the collective consciousness.
Roddenberry had some weird ideas about what the future was going to be like.
You should see some of the pre-production notes for Next Generation. And it's,
Oh my goodness.
they get super weird.
Well, it got really bad for the actors because he thought that in the future nobody would have wrinkled clothing. So they all had to wear costumes that were a size too small.
I love how one of the priorities of the grand future of Starfleet is, fuck, my shirt keeps wrinkling.
Yeah, well, that eventually went away when Patrick Stewart started developing back problems.
I guess when it makes makes it harder for one of your actors to perform, it's a good reason to walk it back.
Probably.
Do you think anyone here can do a Patrick Stewart impression?
I'm not going to try
No.
right now.
Okay, I was just asking.
I would need to do it spontaneously in the moment.
I can do it.
Oh.
I don't think Patrick Stewart can do Patrick Stewart anymore.
No, have you heard him in Picard? Oh, it's really tragic.
All right.
Yeah.
Did nobody hear my impression?
I did not hear no.
I didn't hear. No, did you try doing it? Did you try one?
Yeah, I just did it.
Oh, must have broken
Oh.
up. I
Like
didn't
a-
hear you.
No, he just grunted.
Oh, okay.
It was the face palm thing.
Oh, the face.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what everyone knows. Picard is the face palm guy. All right, folks, it's 11 o'clock, which means I have to sign off. But before I do, once again, congratulations, Matt, on getting your Kickstarter launched. It's the second Mythiverse Kickstarter. I cannot wait to see this one through to the end and get another issue of Mythics out there in the wild. So we have 7 backers so far. I'm sure we'll get more over the next couple of days as the word gets out. So keep sharing it, keep plugging it, and keep at it. We got a month to get this over the $4,000 line. I think it's possible. So everyone, thank you for your support. Thank you for helping. And with all that being said, Matt, do you have anything you want to say before I sign off?
For one thing, thank you to the backers that we have so far. I have to say, I did not expect to reach nearly $300.
Yeah.
So soon.
And I think we'll get more. I think the word is going to get out, and I think tomorrow morning we'll see it. We'll have trickled up a bit, hopefully, maybe a jump. We'll have to wait and see. I do remember during our first campaign, I would get up in the middle of the night to check, and first thing in the morning, and then I would check again. So I'm sure it'll be like that all month long, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? And,
yeah.
And whatever happens, I'm sure we'll get there. But whatever happens, the word will get out to new readers, and Althea's story will get told and will get done one way or the other. So, all right, guys. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna sign off, and feel free to continue to chat. I'm just gonna cut the stream. So, Everyone, thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting, and we shall see you out there somewhere.